move on to the next slide and we'll see like what's happening here. So let's look into the objectives and key results, right? So if it gets a bit confusing, so ignore it, okay? But I believe you have got what is it, right? The key components are objectives and key results, right? What do you want to achieve? That's qualitative, right? So this is what I want to achieve, and how will you measure success? Like these are the milestones. Increase weekly active users by 20%. That's a milestone. So this week, whether I could do it or not, I did it or not is something that is measured. Okay. So the next thing is why OKRs? Objectives. It is to align team, provide measurable goals, encourage innovation, helps in tracking progress. Is this clear? So because if you are not having an objective, so people work in their own silos, right? So they have their own agendas, right? So, but when you have a clear objective and the milestone that you want this team to reach, and that is measured, so then everybody goes in one direction. Otherwise, they will be going in their own directions. And it also encourages innovation because you are not telling what to do exactly, right? So you are telling what to achieve, and then they are the owners of that objective to be achieved, and they come up with innovative ideas how they are going to achieve it, right? So you don't have to dictate like how it has to be done at every stage. So because the leaders who are there and the people who are responsible and accountable, they will be able to take action. If you look at this Flipkart, so the objective is increase customer retention and loyalty. So it is not exactly, there is no number given, but in general, you will have a number. Okay, so you have to increase the customer retention by so and the loyalty by so percentage. Okay, then you will have milestones. Increase Flipkart plus membership. How are these are the milestones which are going to help achieve this customer retention and loyalty. Okay, so I want to so if once you set this objective, the team will come up with okay, by doing what kind of activities we can reach this position, right? So it's not like CEO or CPO, Chief Product Officer, sitting and he is writing the objective, right? It is the team members who are actually the vision or in general idea is given by the CPO or whoever is at a higher level. But the milestones and how to reach there, the action plan is given by people who are very pretty much who are touching the ground, right? So who are actually working on the ground level. Okay. So increase Flipkart Plus members by 25% in next 6 months. So reduce delivery time from top 100 cities to 1 day delivery. For top 100 cities to 1 day delivery. So increase app engagement by 15% through personalized recommendations. So these are the some of the milestones that you should reach. So by doing this, right? So you should be able to achieve what is the objective that is given to you. Okay. And for that you have to change your product, right? So anything that we want to achieve, so the membership has to be achieved by 20%, 25% in 6 months. Then how are you going to convince the customer to take membership? That is where the product innovation comes into picture. So how are you going to tweak, right? So what kind of marketing things that you come up with, and what kind of behavior product tweaks that you make, so that the user get to know about this kind of membership and they actually opt for it, right? So that is where you come up with the product changes, the changes in the product, which actually gives this customer retention loyalty, which is actually giving the business the revenue that it is looking for. Right? So when the message is coming from top, it looks like they are asking for money, but that money or revenue, right? That bottom line changes will come at the end by product changes. So how you translate from there to the product is that itself is like kind of a journey, right? So my boss will say like next year I want 20% higher sales, right? Now whatever product that I have, what am I going to change, right? So I would say like I need a minimum 10% hike in marketing, right? And I want to introduce this kind of memberships so that people can be loyal to me and they purchase more from me, right? So these are the features that you are going to add. These are the features that you are going to add to the product so that they understand. Okay, fine. So customer indeed take action, and which in turn helps you to achieve that objective. Okay. So now we are talking about KPIs, right? So it's about metrics. Okay. So now you set the goal aligned with business objective, right? So what you want to achieve as a milestone, but how do you know which metric is indicate success, right? So there is a popular question, like I just wanted to take a minute on that. Okay. So how do you say that you introduced a feature uh, in Instagram, which is about bookmark or save feature. Okay, save for later or save feature. So how do you tell that okay this feature is successful, or how can you tell that? Like when as we are talking about very high level, I wanted to bring down to a point where we understand about feature success also. So how do you tell that you introduce a feature which is about bookmarking a reel, right, or saving a reel, right? So how do you measure the success of that?
By setting an percentage, like if we reach to this much percentage of level, then we consider this as success for us. Just to
What is that
quantify,
percentage?
By assessing, like,
Mhm.
if we are
we
Like,
can also,
yeah, please go ahead.
uh,
Yeah. So I was saying at the by determining the rate of adoption, maybe we can see like right how the product is well perceived, what we are
Yes.
trying to
How
reach to
the
the user. Yeah.
yeah. So out of how many people, how much content that we are rolling out, right? So how many people are actually using this feature, the usage,
Yes.
adoption. Okay. The higher
Yeah.
the adoption, the more you consider that as a success, right? So yeah. So there are two ways of looking at it. One is some people are bookmarking it. Okay. So when you consider that it is really successful, when people go back and look at that content, right? It's not about clicking that button, but they are clicking that button. There is a usage of it, but they are never going. They are never. Um, they are never going back to those bookmark content and watching it. So not even one, which means the feature is not successful. Right? At a holistic, it should create an impact, right? So people are bookmarking it, but they are never watching it. There can be two problems. One, they bookmarked it, and they, as a behavior, they don't know, they don't come back to things. That's first thing. And the second thing is they don't know how, they don't find that button to navigate to very easily, right? Whatever they have bookmarked, they don't find that button. The visibility of the feature itself is a problem, right? So that is how you see like the success of the feature, and you measure that. So it's so you have to look at the negative points also. Like, is it a problem of visibility of the product or feature, right? So that is actually not helping them to use it, not making them use it properly, or adapt properly, engage properly. So that is a way we think when it comes to product, right? So you introduce a membership card, and which is way more helpful, but people are not using it, right? Suppose they're not using it, there is some fundamental problem that the placement of the feature itself is a problem, possibly, right? You have to look at every angle. Like you should have a measurement success to measure what you call it as a success, and then you need to see like why people are not using it. Okay, why the engagement is not there, or such things. Now let's move on to the next thing. So North Star metric. So you all know about it, right? So have you ever heard about it? What is North Star metric? So North Star metric is kind of a value which is both for the customer and as well as the business owner. Okay, a key indicator that helps identify a common ground where we both are happy. Okay, and as a business, I want to measure that so that I know exactly the customer is also happy and I am also happy. Okay, so I just told in a layman term, but let's look into the definition. Okay, a single metric that best captures the core value of a product deliveries to users. Okay, so suppose if you take a Airbnb North Star metric, it's about nights booked. How many nights got booked? So what is happening here? The number of nights booked. What does it tell? That means the that means the company is earning revenue because rooms are getting booked and customers are also liking it, right? The more the nights getting booked, that means the customers are liking it. They are engaging with your app and they are actually ready to pay what you're asking for, right? That's how it is. If you look at the Spotify's North Star metric, it's total minutes streamed, right? How much music is listened via my app, right? The more they are engaging with your product, the more they are going to, the chances are more that they will subscribe to your product, right? So that's how the North Star metric is. So there's a final metric. Okay. It's a final metric that is going to help understand this. Okay. So North Star metric for Swiggy, which is a food delivery app, right? So if you see this number of orders per customer per month, right? So number of orders per customer per month is the North Star metric. Okay. So why? It directly correlates with the user engagement, revenue, retention, all the three things. So users should be engaging with our product and I should have revenue out of it. The engagement should not go waste and I should be able to retain the customer. Okay. So these are the three key metrics that you should see when you're setting up your own North Star metric. Okay. This can be popular questions that what do you think a North Star metric for this product? Okay. So can you define a North Star metric for this business or product? Right. So then you have to see at 2 points. One is what is the customer perspective and what is the this one. Okay. So added Instamart Genie to increase usage frequency. Okay, so we launched Swiggy One subscription plan, AI-based restaurant dish recommendations. So these are the things that they have done to engage, to have user engagement, revenue, and retention. Okay, so where the subscription for free delivery, this gives a kind of a retention where it is going to increase uh, people who are going to be with your product for long time. Okay, because it has free delivery and all that. So basically, you have to understand that, okay, what makes my customer happy and what makes me happy, and where do you have a common ground, right? So that metric becomes an North Star metric. Okay. So what is North Star metric? It creates value for the customer. The more the user is listening to music, the more minutes he's spending. That means he's happy with the content, right? The more I'm watching the Netflix content, that means I'm happy with the content. The more I'm engaging, right? So that means I'm happy with the content. So it also gives the team alignment, harmonizes efforts towards what is that I should measure, right? So I cannot see at 10 points, right? And I pull one thing, then the other thing will go down, right? So rather than that, we should focus on one final thing. Okay. And this helps us to grow in long term. Whatever that we are going to take as a feature, right, as a product feature or whatever that we are going to introduce, we should see how it is going to impact our North Star metric. Okay, so is it going to positively impact or negatively impact? definitely it should impact positively. That's what is our goal. That's what our actions will be. But you need to see how it is going to impact. Small changes will also bring in a lot of disruption, customer behaviors and all that, right? So small change, product feature changes will also bring a lot of disruptions. So I have heard this guy who's Divyansh telling like why Amazon is not changing their UI because they doesn't look great, right? But because they are not the UI is built for all the personas they are actually working for, right? So you adopt to the new age group, the old and people who are orthodox and traditional, right? So they will not be able to adopt a new UI that fast, which will bring down your sales possibly, right? So you have to balance those things. So when you are introducing a feature, you should be thoughtful, like how it is going to impact an ARSA metric. Okay, so finding your North Star metric is about having growth correlation, relationship between metric and business growth. It's a core value, which is primary benefit user gains, and then representing metric best measure of core value. Right? For an edtech platform, if you see hours spent learning, so this will be the North Star metric. Right? This is a wonderful blog from Amplitude. So Amplitude is a company which gives it's an analytics tool. Okay, so here is a blog about the North Star metric playbook, right? How does it matter about it? So this the important picture is this. How do you come up with come up to North Star metric, right? So here the product initiatives that you are going to take will have key performance indicators. Okay, that is going to be having different dimensions. So you pick breadth, depth, frequency, efficiency, all of this, so that together we can make one North Star metric. Okay, why is this breadth,
Yeah.
depth, frequency, efficiency is required? So that if you only look at the breadth and depth and frequency, if you forget about the efficiency, then the North Star metric that you are looking at, the efficiency is going to have a lot of problems. Like people are not efficient. There are so many orders that is coming up, but that is not getting delivered at all, or it is not delivered timely, right? So then if you look at the Swiggy, right? So the number of orders delivered on time, right? So it's not about the number of orders taken. It's also about the number of orders delivered on time. That becomes the North Star metric.
And this is also
Yeah.
something that keeps on evolving with time, or is it something that is sort of a fixed metric?
Yeah, it's mostly fixed, but at least
Okay.
like 3 to 5 years, right? You should revisit your North Star metric, what you're looking at, right?
Okay.
Is
Okay.
it still
Yeah.
making sense? But it's not
Hmm.
like anything on the wall, right? So as you understand your customer and your own business well, you will
Hmm.
be writing this North Star metric really well,
Okay. Understood.
right? Yeah. So basically, the point is, what is the core value that is delivered to the customer, and how am I making money? So that needs the balance. It needs the relation. Right? That's how this North Star metric is getting fixed. So if you see here, right, a new user activation, resurrection campaign, subscription trails, right? So these are the product initiatives that are taken, which resurrects the users, which acquire the users. And there are some features like recommendation, shopping list, discounts, like number of items order per order, right? That gives the depth, number of items, the quantity, right? Reminders, flash news, notifications. These are the product initiatives which gives the frequency, the number of times the user is coming to you, right? So and then automated replacements, customer chat, warehouse and logistics. So these are the operations, the time it takes to deliver, right? So putting it together, you can actually see like a monthly grocery delivered on time. That becomes your person. It is good with anything, any product. The initiatives are actually measured, and then they translate into revenue and customer happiness. engagement, all that. So far what we have done is about understanding the product vision, how we come up with the product vision and all that. So I have shown my own example and MVP validation. So you not take that as my own example, but it's generally an edtech platform and a product. Okay. So then you have MVP validation. So turning ideas into minimal resources. How do you do that? And then market positioning. And then we discussed about OKRs and then marks and meeting. So this is how the pyramid looks like. The strategic product management pyramid looks like.